Out there in all parts, thank you very much for joining us here. It's Wednesday, so it's time for the Ravori Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. So we've had a good summer here. We're midway through the summertime. Here we go. A few weeks we're going to have training camp coverage. We're going to talk about the NFL. Last night I had a good time driving with the top, talking about some of the greatest players NFL history, so I love that story type stuff. So this weekend, for sure, MLB draft coverage. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that, and the Orioles and the Marlins. We're going to recap that game on Masson. So definitely go ahead and check that out as well. Also, too, we are going to be on around 8:00. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about not just Orioles. We're going to talk Orioles and Marlins. We're going to talk about the Orioles first half. We're going to talk about the rest of the league. We're going to be on about 45 minutes, all the way up until the Orioles draft, which is about 19. We're going to talk about the Orioles draft pick. We're going to talk about some of the earlier draft picks as well. Great time. I always have a great time doing that stream for everyone as well. So definitely Genesis Notary Services. That's Genesis Notary Services /Facebook. Keep an eye out. The website is coming for Genesis Notary Services. So we've been using Facebook. We've been using Google. I'm going to go ahead and have my own website now for Genesis Notary Services. Been working on that. Definitely got my ordained officiant all set. Part of the notary business for those of you out there that want to get married. We have field inspection. We have all this type of stuff in the Winchester area for field inspection. So definitely check it out. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Ravori Sports @gmail.com. So definitely check that out. RavoriSports.company.site. And also, too, check out all of the Fanatics links all over the place that we have. So definitely, if you are looking for Orioles, Ravens, merchandise, all hats and everything like that, check that out. Last bit of business, a lot going on. Interview this week with Professor Peter Brooks from old professor at Coppin State. We're going to talk media. He's really interested in the part also about Negro League baseball, which surprised me. I didn't know that he knew so much about the Negro League. So we're definitely going to talk about that. But greater media and all that other stuff. He has a book coming out and all that fun stuff. These two guys' conversations we're having are a little bit different than just regular XO sports conversations. A little bit different. So definitely square that away. All right. So let's get to it here. That is the 2025 Ravens schedule, and the name of the stream is Ravens records, losses, playoff predictions, and playoff chances. So we're going to go over that. So we've already been over the schedule in terms of games played and who was playing and where they're playing when we did schedule release. So now we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about each game. And what we're going to do here tonight is we're going to also to talk about what the record is going to be for the Ravens at the end of the year. So we're going to go over each game. First game in Buffalo. I want this game in Buffalo. I think it's awesome. Just like the same way last year in Kansas City. I think these are, to me, the two best teams, I think, in the AFC. we're going to have a whole video on record predictions and all that, but we're going to have a whole video on predictions and all that for the rest of the league. But these are, spoiler there, two best teams in the AFC, the Bills. So I do like the fact that we get the game right away. The Bills, I think, have had a good offseason, too. I think they've made some moves. I don't think the Ravens win this first game. I don't think, unlike last year, I don't think the Bills will be less motivated than the Chiefs were. I think they'll be just as motivated, even though they eliminated us in the playoffs. They will be in the game as well. So I do think the Bills actually do beat us in our first game, even though I'm glad we got it. After that, I think we're going to have a pretty good run. First game against the Browns. Could it be Joe Flacco back in Ravens town? I don't know if we played Joe Flacco. If he's played with the Browns in Baltimore yet. So that's exactly what we could have. Or could it be Shador? Could it be Gabriel? Could it be one of those guys? I don't think with all the issues that the Browns are having that they beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens actually win that game as well. Detroit Lions, this is a heavy test early. So a lot of these early games are really tough. The Lions are a really good team. And the Lions, I think, are one of the better teams, I think, in the AFC. This is NFC Monday night game. Not as sexy as a pick, the Lions this year. Not as sexy. I would say Lions are still very strong. They haven't – NFC teams historically do not do well against Lamar. So that makes me go with that at the end. I think NFC teams, Lamar – I think hasn't lost, I think, but 2 games his whole career against teams in the NFC. Motivated early here. Definitely need to get a win, get over 500. I like the Lions. In Kansas City, Arrowhead, I think Arrowhead Stadium might be the toughest stadium, one of them as far as atmosphere in the league. I think it used to be Old Mile High. I think now it is Arrowhead. I think the Chefs actually do beat the Ravens in this one, although I don't think the Chefs are what they were. I think this will be very close, but it'll be very difficult. Ravens have not been able with the Chefs to really stick the knife in at all. They haven't really been able to do that. They haven't been able to really keep a distance there as well. Texans game, the next game. So Houston Texans in this game. Houston, I think, is going to lose to the Ravens. Houston, I think, is pretty good, but again, historically, they haven't really played well against the Ravens. They've had some success in the AFC. The Texans have had success, haven't had trouble against the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills, and that's why they're kind of the 4th best team. They've kind of stuck there. I don't see anything this year to make me change that as well. They have had some receiver issues. They did kind of address that in the offseason. I do think this is a good test for the Ravens secondary, the best real early test for Johnny Alexander, Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, etc. I do like the Ravens in this one. This was probably the game of the year a few years ago when you talk about the Rams. So they're going to get 3 in a row here. I think they win this game against the Rams. Rams, again, really good team. This will be close. I think the Rams are very, very difficult to play in terms of the fact. I've said this over and over about the Rams. They are the new version of New England in the sense of this is not a team that makes a lot of mistakes. They don't do a lot of things wrong on the field. They don't have a lot of penalties. They don't have guys getting stupid flags. That's why teams are trying to confuse them why they're always competitive. They're competitive. I think McVay's a little bit overstated as a guy, as a coach, but I do like them in this game. It should be a really good game. How good is Caleb Williams? I think you're going to find out. If Caleb Williams is on the right track, I think the Bears have some shot against the Ravens. I don't think they're going to do well. I don't think he's going to do well here. Ravens arguably one of the better secondaries in the league against the Bears here. Do like the Ravens in this one. I do like the Ravens in all 3 of those home games. Thursday night, Amazon Prime Video, getting there Halloween, night before Halloween. So definitely Amazon Prime in Miami. I think Miami has the worst home field in the league in terms of Like, it's warm, especially this time of year. I mean, teams want to play in Miami, especially as it gets cold. Like, you don't want a game in Miami in September or whatever. Like, this is about the time of year when you want to start getting games in Miami when it gets cold outside. And Thursday, so I definitely think definitely like the Ravens here. Miami, I'm not a believer. Tua is decent quarterback when healthy. He has trouble staying healthy. Tyreek Hill and Waddle, not as good last year. Offensive line, lost some pieces. Ravens, I think they're an elite team here as well. At Minnesota, this is a tougher one. I think like going to Minnesota and playing the Vikings, I've been saying forever I'm not sold on J.J. McCarthy, and I haven't been sold on J.J. McCarthy. I'll say this. We get a little closer to the season, more and more I'm like, it's a lot of good players in Minnesota. It's a lot of talent. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Aaron Jones. They have a very good line. I'm very impressed with that. Defensively, they were good. I think Brian Flores might be the best. So there should be something there, but, man, it's hard for me to say that McCarthy is going to be any good after watching this. I just can't do it. So I do like the Ravens in this game. Tough to really say that they're going to go ahead and do that. I think the Ravens do sweep the Browns. The Browns at this point, I think, are going to be out of it. I don't think they're going to be doing very well at this point. They definitely, their quarterback thing is going to kill them. We still don't know who's the quarterback. I think it looks like they're going to go with Flacco early. By now, they may have switched to Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders or whoever it is at quarterback. So interesting to see that there. Justin Fields, I think he's probably the worst starter in the maybe he's better than Daniel Jones. I don't think Shedeur is a pass. I don't think Justin Fields is a passer. He's a good athlete. I think some of the team is good around him. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. Again, I don't think the Jets will be contention and all as well. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow did not like the fourth straight year. They have to come into Baltimore in November on a Thursday night and play in Baltimore as well. This year, they're playing it on Thanksgiving as well. Do like the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens are going to actually beat the Bengals at least once this year. I do think the Bengals are going to be a better football team. I do think these are the two best teams, I think, probably in the North. I think some of the things the Steelers have done, it's there, but I think it's definitely there. The Bengals, I would say this. It's a little more nervous because I think they're getting tired of being beat by the Ravens. And they're really good. Their offense is really good. Burrow, four good quarterbacks right now. It's Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. Either one of those four you could say is the best quarterback in the league. Usually by now, also too, the Bengals have gotten their act together. they kind of stumble out of the gate. Going into Pittsburgh, the Squealers are not going to beat us in downtown. I don't think that's going to happen. Pittsburgh, I think, is a really good team. I do like some of the stuff they've done. I think like some Steelers fans are kind of lamenting, but you got Aaron Rodgers. They did get Jalen Ramsey's really, really good. They did get rid of Fitzpatrick. They got Jonnu Smith. So they've done some things here. It's tough. It's a tough division. So I don't know how much better they've gotten. I don't think they come into Baltimore and win. I do think the Ravens do struggle in the next one against Cincinnati. So back-to-back there a few weeks. Cincinnati will have seen them. They're on their home field. It's a fairly quick turnaround. I don't think the Ravens have enough to play them like that close to the vest twice like that. I do like the Bengals in this game. I think the Bengals should win that game. Ravens do struggle a little bit on the road. New England, this will be a little bit tougher. I think New England is going to be in playoff contention at least this year. Drake May is coming around. They have a really good coach now, Mike Vrabel. I think their defense, is top 10 in the league now. I think that's really underrated. So New England should be coming around. Ravens should win that game. I think they're going to win a lot of their home games. I think it's going to be tough on the road. The last two are going to be tough. There's nothing tougher. We talked about the lack of home field advantage. in Miami. There's nothing. It's total opposite when you have to go to Green Bay in December of all places. Like it's freezing in Green Bay in December. I had a friend that used to live there. Just said all it did is snow all the time. Like it snowed all the time. Certainly, right after Christmas in Lambeau, got to go with the Packers there as well. Ravens, I don't think also too. They beat the Squealers in the last game. The Squealers usually play well at home against the Ravens. This is probably the building I think Lamar's played the worst in the league. So I think the last two games are going to be difficult. I do think they win almost all their. I do think they're winning all their home games. I don't see his team on the schedule better than the Ravens at home all season long. I think they're better than all the teams. A lot of their games on the road are tough. Just scroll it back a little bit. Buffalo on the road, KC on the road, Minnesota, Green Bay, Cincinnati. They do have a game at Cincinnati at home, so I think that'll probably be the one. We'll see how Cincinnati does. But overall, 12-5, I think that's what it is. I think they lose 5 road games. I think they win out at home. I don't think they lose any home games as well. They usually play very well at home. I like the idea of that the Ravens are actually going to win all their home games. So I do think this. I think their early schedule is tough. They got to stay healthy early, and they got to weather this early part of the schedule that concerns me, I think, the most. So I'm talking about when you're playing Buffalo, Detroit, KC, the Rams, the Texans. Tough early. I think the second half, I think they're going to have a lot more comfortable. Good teams there, but more familiar. A lot of the AFC, when you talk about Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, New England, they're more familiar with those teams. I think at that point, we will see. There you go. 12-5. That's what I think we got this year for the Ravens. So definitely check that out as well. We're going to have a couple more of these next week. We're going to talk about a few more until we get the training camp reports here as well. So now we're getting to the real stuff here. So we've been talking about we've been talking about the skill players. So we've been doing the top 10 players in the NFL, top 10 players in the league, top 10 in the NFL 2025. Now we're getting to the skill guys. So we did the skill guys. Now we're getting to the big guys, right? So the offensive linemen. Offensive tackle, we're going to do left and right tackle. Guard, same, left and right guard. Center as well. That'll be the last one the next few weeks. So who are the best linemen in the league? So I look at a couple things. This is probably the only position in the field where wins and losses, that doesn't really do anything here in this position. I don't think linemen necessarily, I kind of always kind of factored it in. But one thing I do look at is win rate and the success of the skilled people behind them. Okay, so offensive linemen, running backs, whatever, like especially at guards, you have good run game because you got good guards, etc. So look at that. But really, win rate is a thing for me here with a lot of these guys. All right, so let's talk about this guy, Andrew Thomas. Probably you see lists like this, you're not going to have him anymore. I still like him, though. I think, I'm not even sure that they're going to have him week 1, but we'll see. I think he's as good as anybody in the NFL. But I think, his problem is he's had a lot of injuries and things like that. Get him on the field, top 10. I do like him as far as the long term as well, but I think he's a mauler. So I think out of everybody, this is the one where maybe we say, well, let's see. But Andrew Thomas, I think, they believe in him in New York. They gave him a huge extension. I think number 10, I think Andrew Thomas is it. Number 9, John Alt. I knew I was going to say it. Joe Alt, that was his dad. John Alt was his dad, rather. Was the great offensive lineman so many years in Kansas City. Now he's playing in the son Joe, is a great Notre Dame player, and is actually in. I think I have John Alt there. So I'm sorry for that. So Joe Alt is the son. John Alt was dead. So Joe Alt is the best. I have him in the top 10. I think clearly last year in the draft, no question about it. No question about whether this guy was the best offensive tackle in the draft. This was easy to figure out, easy for Jim Harbaugh to go ahead and take him. I think his development last year was really good. This is a really good tackle group. And this is exactly what Jim Harbaugh wants, a really good tackle group. This guy's a mauler, puts his hands on people. When I see tackles, and I'm going to say you're elite tackle, I want to see you humiliating people. I want to see you taking guys, get your hands on, and throw downfield. So definitely. A little bit of adjustment as a rookie. I think the sky's the limit for Joe Alt going forward. Sorry about that. Not John Alt, Joe Alt going forward. Christian Darrisaw for the Minnesota Vikings. Darrisaw, I think, is fantastic. I really am impressed with him every time I see him. Again, injury is a concern. I think more likely than Thomas, he'll be there at the beginning, but I do think it is there. I think his PFF grade, win-loss rates, everything is off the charts. I think Darrisaw, you look at the success that Minnesota's having in the run game offensively. You look at their strong offensive line. I think this guy is the linchpin to the offensive line, Christian Darrisaw for the Vikings. So definitely strong line play there as well. Laramie Tunsil slipping a little bit in the rankings. I had Laramie Tunsil a little bit higher than I've had him. He's at 7 this year, 30 years old. Still in top 10. Still in the top 10. Laramie Tunsil's still really good. Didn't move to the Commanders. So many years in Houston, he was there. So now he's working with the Commanders as well. So definitely a big pickup for the Commanders. I definitely think you have a young quarterback. What better way to protect them than to go ahead and get a outstanding pass blocker with Laramie Tunsil. So I think this is an absolute good move for the Commanders going ahead and getting him. Better pass blocker than run blocker, which is good. The thing about Tunsil, I think, dropped him a little bit. He's getting older, and he's always had that thing with the flags. He gets flagged a lot. I think that's a thing with him. I notice it too often with him where he gets flagged more than he should, as good as he is. But other than that, I think Tunsil is outstanding. I think definitely he's in the top 10 at number 7. Tristan Wirfs for the Bucks. Some people have him higher than this. I think this list – once you get here, once you say, and I say this a lot of times with this list, you get here and you say you can get the 1. Again, guy might be on PUP to start the season. I don't care. He's fantastic. Wirfs, I think, is an incredible offensive tackle as well. So I think Wirfs is – you don't need to give him help. He's back all by himself. But again, injury issues, I think the only bit of a concern as far as him starting the season. So I do worry about that a little bit with Wirfs, but I think Wirfs, is the real deal. He's been the real deal. Definitely you talk about, I think maybe the most underrated offense in the entire NFL is the Bucks. I think Wirfs is fantastic at 6. I don't even care about the injury in his case. Rashawn Slater for the Chargers. So you talk about the best offensive line, one of the best offensive line tackle groups in the league. You talk about this is exactly, again, what Jim Harbaugh wants. He wanted a group of great offensive tackles to build his team around the physicalness of the team. I think he could wind up being number 1 and really being a guy considered number 1 in the league. Like, definitely when they drafted a Joe Alt, you bring him in, and he has been fantastic for them all season long. Win rates. This guy is I think like he kind of gets more credit like a lot of left tackles as far as pass blocking. His PFF grade is really high. I think it's like 90% pass blocking. I'm really impressed with his run blocking as well. Really, I think it's much better than what people think he is. But I think Slater, and having Alt there is a big reason why I like the Chargers in the AFC West. Slater, number 5. Number 4, Trent Williams. Yeah. Trent Williams, I think, is one of the 5 best offensive tackles in the NFL history. There's nothing been like Trent Williams, but the reality is he's 36 years old, going to be 37. He did miss some games. He has missed some games here the last couple years. I will say this. There is no getting around when you look at the Niners line, the difference when he plays and when he doesn't. It's a whole different look. So even at his advanced age, I think he's still so valuable to them and such a good cog for them to keep him healthy most of the year. But I can't put him at number 1 anymore. I think he's at the age with too many injuries. Play has dropped some. I definitely going to put him at 4 going forward as well. So, number 3, Lane Johnson. Again, another guy. For years, you could put him at 1. Definitely, when you talk about Lane Johnson, this guy has been a tremendous offensive talent for so many years for the Eagles. I think the Eagles line is just fantastic for years now. So there's no question Lane Johnson has been he had to be talked out of retirement. So that tells you something that I don't like hearing from a guy. Okay, he's got to be talked out of retirement. He doesn't want to keep playing anymore. But that's interesting to see here. Trent's going to play into his 40s. He's going to try. He's going to try to play into his 40s. But Trent slipping a little bit as good as Trent has been. Lane Johnson's number 3. Kind of the same. I don't think the drop-off is as well. I think you talk about the right side. There may have not been a better right tackle in the last couple years. When we talk about Lane Johnson. His partner in crime might be Jordan Mailata is with the Eagles. And I think, the Eagles are so strong on this offensive line. This guy's enormously underrated. I never hear his name as far as you talk about a guy who's the number 1 in the league. I think, boy, he's really right there when you talk about number 1. But number 2, I think it's pretty close to number 1. But Jordan Mailata, I think, it's fantastic. There's no question about it. Run blocking, pass blocking, push, pass up, standing up, things like that. You never see him need help. You never see guys get around him. I think he's the best 2 in the pass game for them. I think when teams were throwing, Jalen Hurts goes to throw the ball. I think I like him the most as far as that goes as well. And Penei Sewell, number 1 for the Lions. Yeah, I know. The Lions line, I think, for years was kind of the best in the league. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore as well. They did lose some guys on the line, but Penei Sewell has been just putting on a show for everybody. I think the line, the reason why every running back they put in, Jared Goff and all that other stuff, not getting pressure, I think Penei Sewell, is fantastic for them. Number 1, I think he is the best offensive lineman in the league. Not sure if you know, Trent lost his newborn son. He's going to keep his mind busy after that. If the Niners get a decent swing tackle, he'll be here for a while. I did not know. Lost one of his. So shout out to Trent Williams there, keeping his head up. It's sometimes things are more important than football in life, and I think that's kind of my point. When you get to be a certain age, I just said that Wirtz is going to miss some time as well. I think Tunsil I've seen might miss some time. Wirtz, I don't care. Wirtz, if he missed 4 or 5 games, he's still in the top 10. But Trent Williams, again, missing some time. Sometimes things are more important than football, and that's kind of my point. Certainly, you get to be an older person. It certainly is. There was a time where work and getting ahead is more important. Now he's 37, and so maybe his kids and his family are, trumping his thing for football. And sometimes that's not always a good thing in terms of success on the field. So shout out, though, to Trent Williams, hopefully with his son, prayers up for him and his family. Absolutely, Kenny. All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little MLB baseball summer. So let's go ahead and get that squared away for you. What else here? How do I feel real quick? I do have a second, actually. How do I feel about Estrie in Houston, the rookie from Minnesota? They're speaking highly of him, even though there are no pads yet. I didn't love him in the draft, so we'll see how he does as a rookie. I think it's a little high when they drafted him as well. I think, we'll see. I'm not overly convinced yet as well. Although seeing him in camp, seeing him with the ones does matter. I'm thinking that is good that we're seeing. He was a second-round pick. Yeah, I thought that was a little high, Kenny. Like when you're drafting him in college, I didn't really see a guy that should have. But I saw some of those draft ones, and I'm going to get to baseball. I said but I saw a lot of those guys in the draft, and there was a lot of similar guys like guard, tackle-ish guys that were picking high. Like some guy from Arizona, some of the name escaped. But, it was a lot of those type guys. It was hard to really see. I think the tackles that actually did get taken were better at the top. So, again, Estrie, they're really rolling the dice in Minnesota, though, with I don't think he's special. And I think they're really rolling the dice in Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. All right, now we're going to baseball. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our baseball summer. Let's go ahead and talk about that here. Let's get our music for that.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play.
All right, so we got baseball summer coming up this week. So we got the MLB coverage that is coming up. And so last week we went ahead and went over our prospects as well. We've been going over prospects this Sunday. Like I said, 8 o'clock, we're going to go do our MLB draft coverage as well, as long as we're going to talk about Orioles and Marlins. So I did a top 10 on Twitter, MLB draft. For those of you that want to go ahead and go on the Ravori Sports Twitter page, go ahead and follow us there. And I am pulling it up, I swear. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the prospects in the MLB draft. All right. Go Pack all day. Are you a Ravens fan? Absolutely. It's called Ravori Sports, brother. Ravens, Orioles. For those of you that didn't get it, there you go. Orioles. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the Orioles in the MLB draft here. And so what's going on this week in the draft? So I think the high school players this year are really good in a lot of drafts. I think there is a little bit of a closer of a gap between one. I think everybody's talking about Ethan Holiday, which is fine, but I think it is a little bit of a closer of a gap with that. Yes, I know how to pronounce it now. There you go. So we want to go ahead and talk about these players in the MLB draft because it reminds me to go back to the 2004 drafts. I think like where the 3 quarterbacks were there. So we talk about Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. They were all kind of, but everybody was talking more about Eli Manning because of the pedigree and all the other stuff. But the gap really, when we saw their careers and we saw them in the draft, wasn't that much. I think you kind of have that here in the baseball draft with the high school players. I think for as much as everybody's talking about Ethan Holiday and is really spouting on Ethan Holiday, I think it's pretty close, I think, in terms of the players in the draft. So last week we talked about the College World Series. So this week, okay, so let's talk about it. So good group of high school players. You're going to get some pitchers that's going to get picked here. So this group here is going to be guys that Orioles may look at. I think this will be in the range, low first-round guys like that. Brandon Doherty, flamethrower from the high school in Chapel Hill, California. I definitely has these guys are flamethrowers here as well. So Doherty, I think, is going to be – I like him. I think maybe higher – I think I probably have him higher than I've seen in a lot of other places as well. But Braylon Doherty is going to be – was very good in the futures game, top 10, about 19 years old. So he's older. I think you can definitely put him in the minor leagues. Outfielders, you see a lot of now – different now when you talk about a lot of these young prospects. A lot of them are outfielders compared to in years past as well. He's done some hitting. He is a right-handed pitcher. I think they're going to look at him as pitcher as well. Shane Caldwell from Valley View in California. You y'all listen to Dodger Jason talk about how good baseball in California is. And Slade Caldwell, I think, is one of those guys here as well. So outstanding prospect as well. Definitely think he's in the top 10. Really been moving up boards. I know the Diamondbacks are really looking at him. A lot of teams are looking at him as well. Definitely good size. He's about 6'6". Well, I keep forgetting he's 5'9". He kind of looks taller than the way he stands at the plate. So let's scratch that. But I definitely think that's one is as well. Definitely going to be in the top 10. Theo Gillen from Westlake High School. Theo Gillen, I think, is going to be. Now we're talking about what I was talking about when the stream started. Here is the group of guys that are in this group of the young players, that are in this group of the young shortstops as well. So definitely keep that in mind. There's a lot of really good young shortstops in this group. Also, you talk about Wyatt Stanford from Independence High School in Texas. Is definitely another one here as well. Wyatt Stanford, definitely a guy. Sorry about that. So definitely huge prospect coming up here as well. A high school player. None of these guys is going to spend a lot of time in the minor leagues. They're just not. So some of these guys, depending on where they get drafted, I think they may spend. But this is kind of going to be in the Orioles' range here of guys. I do think most likely, and we know Mike Elias loves these MLB offensive players more than pitchers. I think we need to get some. I think we need to look at the pitchers, but he definitely likes a lot of these minor league players. A lot of these guys. All right, let's do it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so Ryan Sloan is there. That's number 5. That's number 6. Wrong side. Okay. So here we go. So these are the guys for sure that are going to be super high in the draft. So I don't think the Orioles are necessarily going to have a shot at a lot of these here, but I do think these are guys that are definitely going to go early in the draft. I'd be surprised if any one of these went past 15, 20. Past the Orioles, I guess we'd have a shot at it if it's 15. But I think like past that, I don't think the Orioles are going to have it. Kurt Schoolcraft, Elk City, Oklahoma. So he's used to playing in hot weather. Flamethrower, throws extremely hard. You talk about a guy It's definitely when you have a guy that throws this hard and he throws with left hand, there's definitely a guy that teams are absolutely going to look at here early. Seth Hernandez is definitely drawing a lot of attention here. It's a rule that you don't want to pick high school pitchers, this high right-handed pitchers high. Seth Hernandez is going to break that. Seth Hernandez is going to be a guy from that school in Corona, California. I think like he's definitely going to be a guy that a team is going to take early. No question about it. I'd be very surprised. He's definitely got some work to do. Pitchers, again, it's a little bit tougher to get pitchers. This is why some teams stay away from him. But I think Seth Hernandez is definitely going to be taken early. These three shortstops, I think, are terrific. You can pick your poison. This is Manning, Rivers, and Roethlisberger right here. Eli Wilt, the Fort Cobb Braxton, Oklahoma high school. Wilt, I think he is you can argue he's the most complete of the group in ways, even though I have number 3. I think one is more of one thing, but this guy has a lot of physical tools, has a lot of physicality to him, has a lot of those things, but I think he also has the good baseball skill, good defensively, impressive. Not quite as good defensively as the top two, but I think that was the one thing. But a good all-around guy, definitely going to be taken high. A lot of good shortstops as well. Billy Carlson, I love Billy Carlson. I think this tools. When you take a high school guy, you definitely want to take tools. 5 tools in a game. Hit for power, run, field, throw. Billy Carlson, absolutely, of all this group, has the most tools. Actually, like him at shortstop. Has that Sean meter, the old Sean Dunston, actually rocket throwing arm. So I think outstanding stuff from him to actually throw the baseball. So I really like Billy Carlson. Tools all as well, but you got to like Ethan Holiday because of the fact father was a great major league player. Brother currently is a good major league player as well. And Ethan Holiday, I think this is the sure bet. He's definitely a good hitter. He's hit all through his high school career. Great size. Is he a third baseman? I think that's probably where he lands. I do think he could play his whole career at shortstop, though. I think I've kind of heard, well, you're going to put him at third. You have to put him at third. I'm not so sure about that you have to put him at third as well. So interesting to see that as well. But I think these are the ones here that you're going to have here early in the draft as well. The high school players, you're definitely going to have that this weekend when we have the MLB draft. There you go. So MLB draft is this weekend. So we'll definitely go ahead and check that out as well. So definitely do that. So definitely check out us Sunday night. Definitely check out the draft this weekend. A lot of good stuff going on for all you sports media guys that want to say it's the dead too. And there's nothing going on. You're not watching the MLB. So definitely check it out because there's a lot going on right now in the MLB. So definitely we're going to go ahead and get squared away too as well. We're going to go ahead and get to the Orioles here in a second.
I don't know if I can do this. I'm in the hotel room. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do.
Just taking a look at sports media news here real quick, seeing if there's anything worth.
So can I stay here though? Like, can I stay in this room?
Reportedly, MLB.
Stay for like 2 more days?
Reportedly MLB and ESPN are resuming negotiations. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second as well. Real quick, since I have a few seconds, I'm usually pushing the gun a little bit for that. So definitely driving to the top productions. So definitely the stream on Sunday is definitely driving to the top productions. What a great group of guys that have allowed me to go ahead and stream with them and work with them. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity as well. All my numbers that went up, all the collaboration and everything like that. So thank you guys for allowing me. Thank you for all the Facebook groups that allow me, like Purple City Nation, We Bleed Purple, all the groups here, official Orioles group, all those guys that allow me to go ahead and every day anoint them with my Orioles content and Ravens content as well. So I want to thank all of you guys for that while I have a minute here to thank you. So I'm appreciative of that, and I'm appreciative of the fact that we have been growing and moving our business here, and we are grateful to have our fourth football season coming forward. I can't believe it myself. You know, it believe sometimes too that you can change things for yourself. All I see is people on TikTok crying, I lost my job, and then not to be insensitive, but you can also start to do things with yourself and do things with your life that maybe you couldn't do before. So I think that's definitely a side to try this out and try some new things out and definitely do that. Find out what you're good at, find out what you're passionate about, and get that squared away. All right. Orioles, we're done. So Orioles moves this week have been crazy. It's been craziness with the Orioles, that all the stuff that has went on. So let's definitely check this out here as well. Last Wednesday, I don't think I got a chance to talk about the DFA Matt Bowman. It's been just up and down. It's ridiculous. Jose Barrero, they agreed to a terms on minor league contract. Keegan Aiken, who's been really good this year, got placed on a 15-day DL, retroactive to July 1st. In the process of that, selected the right-handed contract of Corbin Martin from Norfolk, and also to recall Yadier Cano is back. So sent him down. Now he's back. Cano's been good too since he's been back. So that's good. Optioning Dylan Carlson on Thursday to Norfolk. Odd man out. I think Carlson's been good enough to stay, but I think it's the odd man out. I think they got so many outfielders. I argue he's earning his spot, but they're just not going to just get rid of Tyler O'Neill. At least not yet. So somebody had to go. I think they sent him to Norfolk. Tyler O'Neill, since you brought it up, is back. 10-day DL. Matt Bowman actually was, and Emmanuel Rivera were again sent outright to Norfolk. Tanner Houck and Machado Yoshida were sent to Portland on rehab as well. So Tyler O'Neill's back. Basically, that's what you get out of that. Tyler O'Neill has actually played fairly well in his time back. Just got to keep Tyler O'Neill healthy. I think he's a good enough player. I think people more down on him than maybe what it is, but definitely down on him. Oh, yes. Let's talk about Alex Jackson. Alex Jackson was acquired from the New York Yankees in exchange for bonus pool space and player to be named later and good old cash considerations. Listen, I want to see Sam Basayo as much as all of you guys. We're going to keep waiting. I will say, though, we're not as fans ridiculous here. I've never seen this. You got the number one prospect in your organization at AAA, and they haven't brought him up when there have been 5 guys at his position on IL. I can't remember that. Somebody in the comments, I know Kenny's the football guy, but somebody tell me how that happens. How you got a guy with 5, how you have a prospect, and not just a prospect or AA, obviously, that makes sense. But like a AAA number one prospect, have 5 guys at his position, and you don't bring him up. I've never seen that before. They're not going to rush him. Slow walk the prospects. I don't think it's service time or anything. I think at this point in the season, I don't think that's what it is. I do think they are not going to rush him, and that's the answer you're going to get. Tony Mazzolino the other day said they didn't even talk about it. I can't understand how you can have that. They've actually acquired a guy they didn't even have the Yankees who they didn't even want. I haven't seen him even on the Yankees this year, Alex Jackson. I'm assuming he was in AAA. So I hear you. I hear your frustration with Basayo. I think I'd like to see him as well. I hear you. Orioles sent Luis Castillo outright to the Ties. We all got excited. We thought it was the Luis Castillo from the Mariners. It's a different guy. He's not even getting a shot, so it's unfortunate. Grayson Rodriguez, I think I have that misspelled, threw a bullpen session last week in Atlanta, and he hasn't progressed to facing live hitters yet. So shout out to Jake Rill. I did ask him on Twitter, what's going on with Grayson? Uber quiet. He hasn't had surgery I haven't heard about. He hasn't had anything. Nobody's saying anything. Jake, thank you. For giving the Orioles fans here at Ravori Sports Podcast, because I don't know what to tell people. Like, is he having surgery? Is he coming back? There's no timetable. There's nothing on Grayson. I don't think he's had surgery. I don't think. So what's going on? Why isn't he in a picture? So it's been really quiet on him as well. I do see progress with other ones. I think he mentioned also to Adley starting to do some stuff. Bradish starting to do some stuff. Bradish may be on a rehab assignment pretty soon. It's great news. So, but Grayson, just nothing. No news at all. Ryan O'Hearn was the only one that made the All-Star game. Jackson Holiday, Felix Batista were also the strongest possibilities. Batista, I could see it. He didn't make it. I could see that too. Same with Jackson. I think Jackson would have been a better choice because I think for the fans, I think a lot of people would love to see a Jackson Holiday in the All-Star game, a young prospect, a young phenom like him in the Holiday. But Ryan O'Hearn, I think, well-deserved. I think he's been clearly the best DH in the American League. Cool that the fans voted in. Wonder what if he would have happened had he not gotten voted in. Interesting to see. Who's playing well? Jordan Westberg, Trevor Rogers, Andrew Kittredge. Kittredge has been back and has been better than what we anticipated. He's been good. The bullpen has been solid lately. I think they've been getting better starts. The bullpen, I think, overall has been better. Trevor Rogers has been terrific. I don't know where this has been. I didn't have a clue this was coming, but he's been fantastic. And Westy, I think, has been good. Westy is really good. Just got to keep him on the field. Keep him healthy. There's no problems with Westy. Brian Baker is not coming, is kind of struggled for the first time this season. So not too worried about it. He's been really good, giving up some runs, but a little bit. Sagano, I said this and I've been saying this. I think we're at the point now where Japanese pitchers, they have a half a year where they're really good. Not that he's not any good or can't figure this out, but early they look really good because you don't know them, right? They haven't figured it out yet. They don't know what he does. They don't have his tendencies. They don't have. That's the advantage a lot of these guys have early, okay? And so now that's gone. That's no longer the case. So now teams have kind of more got his tendencies. Gunnar, I'm sorry, I'm just not impressed with Gunnar so far. I know he's got 10 home runs. His average is decent. He was like 182, I think, this week. Gunner's not driving the ball. Gunner is getting some hits. I see him a lot. First hit of the game, early in the first inning, he gets a single, and then that's it. No, he's got to see more from Gunner as well. This week, Miami Marlins are going to play in Camden Yards. We talked about that. We're going to cap that on Sunday, and the All-Star game. I don't think there are any games until next week. So by the time we see you next time, we're going to be talking about the new series, Player of the Week, our guy. I think the linchpin. I think the biggest joy of this rough season that we've had is for me watching Jackson Holiday grow right before us. So that has been awesome to actually see Jackson Holiday, this player, grow right before us as well. So thank you very much for joining us here for the Ravori Sports Podcast as well. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. We will be here next week for the Ravori Sports Podcast for our regular podcast. Definitely check us out Saturday, our interview with Peter Brooks, the professor, and definitely check us out Sunday for our MLB draft. and Orioles Marlins reaction. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy yourself.